So you guys ever tried that Evian natural spring water? From the French Alps. Boy, that's got to be like some sort of great, healthy product that will bring out qualities and bodies. It must have a virtue all its own. It must be really something special. You know, what happens if you look at the word Evian backwards? Oh, naive. You know, there's a lot of things we've talked about. There seems to be almost like this fetish with those in power to hide things in plain sight. One of the ways they do it is called mirroring or reverse speech. You know, we've talked about other things. We look at Pope John Paul VI Audience Hall, which looks like this new fancy solar-powered building, and yet when you look at it, it's actually a form of a snake that's half in the Vatican and half out. And the part that's in is teeth. It's a giant snake's head that's biting and injecting poison into the kingdom of heaven. And then on the inside, there's this great statue of Jesus presiding over a nuclear event or something horrifying like that. And yet when you look at it a little closer, you see it's not Jesus at all. They're getting people to worship the serpent. It is a giant snake god. So these are some of the visual satanic messages that they hide in plain sight. But what about audio? Well, this is something that's long been talked about, and it is listening to rock songs in reverse and hearing satanic messages. Rock and roll, the devil's music. And so people have done this. I'll link to this because it's going to be kind of hard to probably pick up on it. It's hard to hear it sometimes, but let's start with kind of an innocuous one. Another one, Bites the Dust with Freddie Mercury, where at the end it sounds like he says, "It's fun to smoke marijuana," when played in reverse. It's fun to smoke marijuana. Thanks, Freddie. And you can see they took down the one from the Eagles, which is too bad. There's a number of these. I'm not really familiar with the songs, or, they're long, so you can do some of these investigations by yourself. But we have the Beatles on the White Album, 1968. The first sinister message to appear on the Fab Four track, the fade out to Strawberry Fields Forever, in which John Lennon seems to say, "I buried Paul, I miss him, I miss him," which is part of the infamous Paul is Dead conspiracy, which claims Paul McCartney was killed in a car crash in 1966 and secretly replaced with a double. Maybe. Who knows? The world's a strange place. Gibberish? Yeah. Oh, John. Now, one of the more interesting ones is the Stairway to Heaven, played backwards. It's Jimmy Page really likes the occult. He bought famed Satanist Aleister Crowley's mansion, and rumors persist to this day. He sold his soul to the devil in exchange for fame. So it centers around the "if there's a bustle in your hedgerow," which appears to say, "Oh, here's to my sweet Satan," the one whose little path would make me sad, whose power is Satan. He will give those with him 666. There was a little tool shed where he made us suffer, sad Satan. Stairway to Heaven. I hear, don't play it in the guitar store if you can. It's banned. Nonsense, right? Yes, there are two paths you can go by. Yes, there are. There's still time to change the road. Let's hope so. And the last one, 665 by Soundgarden. Now, how Chris Cornell went from just some dude to selling fish at Ivar's in Seattle to what he became, who knows? Apparently, he had incredible natural talent. Of course, he also got involved. He was married to... he was like 35, and he got married to a 17-year-old girl who was related to some modeling magnate's fortune, and then allegedly was making a documentary on child abuse, the Clinton kind, with Anthony Bourdain and Chester Bennington when he committed suicide after, recovering from alcohol and drugs and saying he'd never been happier. Supposedly he killed himself in Detroit after getting a brand new bodyguard who managed to kick down 2 locked doors, and I think it was the Hilton Hotel. Of course, he's staying in the suite. And this bodyguard, apparently the T-1000, was just able to bust these doors down on a feeling with one kick and find him with almost all of his ribs broken, choking on an exercise band, a red exercise band, which only has 35 pounds of resistance, which is an awful small amount of power to execute a 6'3", 170-pound man. But all that aside, Chris Cornell apparently had this song, 665, Santa, I love you, baby, my Christmas king. Santa, you're my king, I love you, Santa baby. Got what I need, appear throughout the song. Hey, maybe it was just a typo. Indeed. Received his reward. And you may think, oh, heavy rain, this is just silly nonsense. It's kind of fun or interesting, but there's nothing to it. Well, the CIA would beg to differ. In fact, in 2002, I believe it was, they released a report on reverse speech, hidden messages in human communication by David John Oates, CIA document RDP 96 TAC, and then blah, 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 approved for release 5/17/2002. And they did an entire report on it. Oops. You're making me look bad, computer. All right. The discovery of reverse speech, initial research, source of reverse speech, communicative nature of reverse speech in children, reverse speech in images, intricacies of speech, sex, therapy, music, personalities and politicians, reverse speech in professions, developing areas of research and conclusion. They've got all the footnotes, they've got the chapters. This is something you can research. It's very dense. There's a lot here, but it's something, it goes back. You can see Carl Jung, Psychology Today, a lot of Jung, but it is definitely something that has been investigated thoroughly by psychologists, intelligence agencies, and, it isn't handled as a joke. It isn't something that they're joking about. And so let's look at a politician. Let's look at the great Barack Obama, the great unifier. Yes, we can. Takes on a very different meaning here.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
He gets
yes, we can.
He gets everyone to say it.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
The whole crowd.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan.
Thank you, Satan, for
Thank
power.
You, Satan.
Thank you, Satan. Right in front of us all. Thank you, Satan. Thank you, Satan.
American creed. Yes, we can. Thank you, Satan. Adhere from the grandma. Thank you, Satan. Adhere from the grandma. Thank you, Satan. Adhere from the grandma. Yes, we can. When there was despair in the Dust Bowl and the Lord said to the apes in the window, thank you, Satan. The Lord said to the apes in the window, thank you, Satan. The Lord said to the apes in the window, thank you, Satan. A new sense of common purpose. Yes, we can. Thank you, Satan. The birth of life was never sooner. Thank you, Satan. The birth of life was never sooner. Thank you, Satan. The birth of life was never sooner. And a democracy was saved. Yes, we can. She was there for the buses in Montgomery. Here, Mike, and Mrs. Up for the prayers. Thank you, Satan. Yes, so we surrounded it. Here, Mike, and Mrs. Up for the prayers. Thank you, Satan. Yes, so we surrounded it.
All right, you get the idea. So that is reverse speech, reverse music, reverse speaking, reverse images. So why am I bothering to talk about this? Well, I want to direct your attention to a very specific demon. A demon in Hebrew, which is pronounced as Divoc, or sometimes spelled dāībaq, but Divoc. What does that spell backwards? Oh yes, the great plague of our time. So dāībaq, as transcribed in Hebrew, means possession by an evil spirit. And we can look at the authority Yorham Bilu, professor of sociology and anthropology at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem and recipient of the prestigious Israel Award in 2013. And according to him, the term dāībaq was used in Jewish mystical circles to designate a spirit of a dead person, a notorious sinner in his lifetime that took temporary possession of a human being. Dāībaq or dāībaq possession was always conceived of as an affliction or an illness, and the possessing agent of a foreign, dangerous intruder that had to be expelled. Dāībaq possession left the victim as a passive object, temporarily bereft of self-awareness, boy, I haven't seen that anywhere, and without self-control, vis-a-vis two external authorities, the possessing spirit, who deprived the possessed of her individual identity, and then the rabbi exorcist who compelled the spirit to leave. So it's a spirit that deprives someone of their self-awareness and their individual identity and leaves them as a passive object. Sounds like a good little communist citizen that can then be ruled over by a centralized authority? Nah. Now in Latin, dāībaq means to separate, divide or disturb, partition, tear away, open, separated, or destroy in two. So I can certainly say that has been the effect of this, as you see family against family arguing on Facebook, relationships being divided, parents, children, fathers, mothers, everyone disagrees on what this is and what to do. We are very much divorced or split. It's chaos on earth. And from what I've been able to tell, this is the name that was specifically chosen by the World Health Organization to describe what was the novel coronavirus. And after the agenda-shattering elections like Brexit and Trump, if only there were some way the establishment could divide people up in two camps and put them on a registry, those that follow and believe the mainstream narrative, who will get all sorts of privileges like returning to everyday life and being able to go to concerts and eating out, and those that get their information from alternative sources and need to be punished and re-educated into compliance. But I'm sure, like all these other things, it's just another coincidence.